How many sophomores do you think can legally drive themselves to school? We're going to discuss the probability of high school sophomores having a driver's license and why it matters. Understanding this probability can help us learn more about student independence in transportation. Studies show that nationally, only 20% of 16-year-olds hold their license. This establishes the theoretical probability. Although it differs between schools, the general number of sophomores owning a license is only 1 out of 5.
Alright, out of 30 responses, the experimental probability shows that about 80% were sophomores, while 20% were not, which may slightly affect how the results are. In terms of age, most students were 16 years old, followed by 17-year-olds, with a small number being 14 and 15. For driving data, 60% had a driver's license, 20% had completed ed but not done anything, and 13 had not done anything yet. These results give a general picture for driving readiness among students in our sample, but because the sample was limited and not fully random, the results may not perfectly represent all sophomores.
The sampling method we used was the convenience sampling. During school and in between third period and first lunch, we distribute survey forms to students who were conveniently available to participate. The survey asked whether or not students were 16 years old, and whether if they had completed driver's education and if they obtained their driver's license. Although we gave surveys to a variety of sophomores, the sample was not truly random because the participants were selected based on convenience. This may introduce some bias and limit how well the results represent of all sophomores at the school.
Comparing our theoretical probability and our experimental probability, we see a rather large difference between licensed and unlicensed sophomores. Around 19.3% of sophomores are unlicensed according to NextGen Personal Finance. However, our data show that 66% of sophomores have a driver's license. The experimental probability showed that 66% of students had a driver's license, 20% had completed driver's ed, but not the test, and 13 had not started at all. Compared to theoretical probability, we would expect fewer students to already have licenses because not all sophomores have had enough time or opportunity to get one. Our results were slightly higher than expected, which may be because we used a small convenience sample and only surveyed students who were available. Overall, the results still showed the same pattern that older students are more likely to have driving experience, but our sample may not perfectly represent all sophomores.
There are several limitations to our data collection. First, we only had 1 week to collect responses, which limited the number of students we could survey. A longer data collection period may have allowed us to gather more responses and create a more representative sample. Second, we only surveyed the students at our school, so the results may not reflect the experiences of students in other schools or in different communities. Third, we used a Google form to collect our data. Some students may have rushed through the data, misunderstood the questions, or chosen not to participate. Although we surveyed a variety of students, the convenience sampling method meant that students that were available during lunch were more likely to be included, which could introduce bias. These limitations might have affected our results by making them less representative to our entire sophomore class. The things that we could have done to improve our study, or by using a truly random sample instead of a convenience sampling and collecting data over a longer period of time. Collecting data on sophomores who have driver licenses is important because it helps us understand how many students of our age have begun driving and completed driver's education. This information can provide insight to the level of independence and transportation options available to students. It may also help identify patterns, such as whether most 16-year-olds have licenses or whether many students wait to get them later. By studying this data, we can better understand the experiences and driving habits of sophomores at our school.